Oh, was I muted?
Hello.
I muted everyone, but
Oh,
so I'm just
Oh.
about to mute everybody. So as soon as I mute everybody, Amy, turn on your mic, okay? So one
okay. Thank you.
now.
Okay, let me start it again. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Amy Clark. First, I would like to thank you all on behalf of the organizers for this summit for being here. I am from Edmonton, and I am your co-MC for this first summit in our summit series.
And I am the other MC, Heath Burkles from Edmonton as well. And Amy will do the land acknowledgement.
Thank you, Heath. We respectfully acknowledge that we are on treaty land. We acknowledge all the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit whose footsteps have marked these lands for centuries. And I'm supposed to say thank you to myself, so I'll say thank you.
So to begin, we want to make sure that this meeting is as accessible as possible. So for those who need special accommodations,
Video. Where are you?
can
Okay,
Amy?
Yeah, good. We are joined by ASL interpreter Deb Russell, who will be our interpreter from Flick for those who need to use ASL interpretation for this summit. To make it easier for the deaf community to benefit from the ASL interpreter, we ask people to please turn off their video if not speaking. If you need ASL, please look for ASL interpreter Deb Russell on the participant list.
Make sure the ASL interpreter is focused on. Go to the speaker setting on the upper right of your screen. There is a picture that may look like a large square with several small boxes above it. This is the speaker setting. If the picture is several equally sized boxes, that is the gallery. You will know its speaker setting as a check mark will be beside it.
This allows your screen to focus on the person speaking. From here, choose pin under
They're the speaker.
Under the participant, Deb Russell. Once you have pinned to Deb Russell, to ensure you see the interpreter.
We would like you to know this summit will also be closed captioned and recorded. If you wish not to be, if you would like it to, we would like, my apologies. We would like to remind you that this is, that as it is being recorded, please feel free to turn off your video as we will be sharing the recording and notes on the AACT YouTube channel.
We have a closed captioner from KLM who has provided a link to activate the live closed captioning. The link to the closed captioning is also located in the chat for people who are hard of hearing.
If we could ask everyone in the summit to please raise your virtual hand to acknowledge the meeting is being recorded. To raise your virtual hand, go to the bottom of the screen and click on participants. Then click on the blue hand message under participants on the right side.
Okay, you're off. You're on now. Okay, yeah, shut the door and you're good.
Good, how are you? I finally figured it out.
Sophia, if you can make me co-host, I can help with the microphones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amy, can you read the next line, please?
Yeah, sorry. This will also be the way to let the host and moderators know you have something to say, and we will add your name to the speakers list.
And if I could get the host to clear the hands so that we can get started.
What was she?
Please press mute unless you're one of the MCs. Amy, you have the next line.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Okay.
We will be proceeding to the breakout rooms for 10 minutes, where you will meet your group moderators to get your ideas on what self-advocacy is. Our moderators today are Amy Park, Heath Burkles, Mary Salvani, Anna Olson, Colleen Houston, Kathleen Biersdorf, Carrie Mckechn, Julia Lawrence, Chelsea Pratchett, and Mahala Morris, who will explain to you how the session will go. Hello again, everyone.
Hi.
I'm just going to be doing a quick collective mute so that we can focus everything onto the MCs. And then unmute yourself, Amy.
Yep, already done. Okay, welcome back, everyone. We would like to take a moment now for group moderators to quickly give us a summary of what they discussed during their breakout session. Each moderator has about a minute to talk. Then you will be muted. First, we will hear from Colleen Houston.
Hi there, I'm Colleen, and thank you very much, Amy. So I met with some great people from all around the province, and we all felt that self-advocacy was speaking up for ourselves and for others. And some of us have done a lot of work and are quite proud of doing some of the work we've done with the Self-Advocacy Federation, for one, was mentioned. And some of us are actually kind of new to self-advocacy, so it's our first step in a journey. And so we're very excited about connecting with people today, because some of us have problems with sensory difficulties and might be needing support with their housing. So it's just been really great to meet everybody and hoping we can connect some more. So thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. Next, we'll go hear from Anna Olson. Anna?
Hi there. So in my group, the group ended up talking about in terms of what self-advocacy is about, making sure that people with disabilities get what they need and make sure that their voice is heard. They talked about that there's a need to fight for all people with and without disability. And that it also includes other people to advocate with. Even though you're a self-advocate, that it's important that you also have other people that are, I guess, are like-minded, that you can rely on as support. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you, Anna. Next, we will hear from Mahala Morris. Mahala?
Hi, everyone. So our group kind of defined self-advocacy as the making sure your needs are met and voicing when they're not, as well as educating people on the rights that they have and the rights of yourself as well. Being able to speak up for yourself, and then many different ways of doing that, such as making connections to people in power, not always government, listening to other people's stories, networking with the public, and networking with people, and then public education and awareness. So kind of brainstorming there of different ways to do it.
Thank you, Mahala. Next we will hear from Mary Salvani. Mary?
Amy, please go to the next person.
Oh, so sorry.
Mary was not. I was.
Next we will hear from Kathleen Thursdorf.
Hi, we talked about kind of 3 roles in self-advocacy. One, of course, is speaking up for yourself about the things that are important to you. And that's kind of the true self-advocacy. We also talked about speaking up for others who don't have a voice, and that involves also understanding what's important to them. So that's often when they have difficulty communicating. They could be nonverbal or just they communicate in unique ways. And then the third part was helping others to learn to advocate for themselves or to learn to advocate for the group as a whole. And I think that's probably the main things that we had.
Thank you, Kathleen. Next we will hear from Kelly Mckechn. Kelly.
Hi, everyone. So our group is from all over Alberta as well. And one of the things that jumped out was having a voice and speaking up for what's important for us. And the thing that we found interesting was asking for help when you needed it. That was a form of advocating for yourself as well. And another one was like starting to be on my own path and follow things that are important to me. So thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Next we will hear from Julia Lawrence. Julia.
Hello, everybody, and thank you, Amy. We talked about self-advocacy, writing letters, knowing when you cannot do something independently, but would like to have an interdependent partner, raising alarm when we need to, worrying about others' welfare, joining focus groups, advocating and supporting each other. And once you advocate for one, you have many that advocate for you.
Thank you, Julia. Next we will hear from Chelsea Pratchett. Chelsea.
Hey. Yeah, so everybody in our group was identifying as a self-advocate. Some are relatively new to self-advocacy, and this was defined as fighting for folks who don't have a voice, speaking up for yourself, as well as speaking up for other people. There was emphasis on the need to be staying current with the changing issues that people are facing and the things that are impacting people. That's it.
Thank you, Chelsea. And Heath, what did your group have to say?
Hey, everyone. So our group very similarly was from across Alberta with various levels of being in advocacy. And each of them was seeing self-advocacy as being able to not only speak up for yourself, but also at a level of being able to make sure that it contributes so that you can support others and build from each other. So I found that really powerful. And then Amy, what did your group say?
Our group only managed to get to the first question and we weren't able to get to everybody, and I apologize for that. But basically we talked about how it's important to stand up for things that we feel are unjust and not right. Also, someone said that they don't worry so much about the perceptions of others because they are who they are and they were born the way that they are, and that's okay. We also talked about helping others and finding resources for other people in the community. Thank you.
I believe before we go on, I think I've just been messaged that Mary is ready to speak. I'm just trying to find her on the list.
Can you find Mary to unmute her?
I'm trying to find Mary to unmute her.
I don't see Mary on here.
I don't see Mary either.
And now I see her, and she's on the phone.
I'm asking her.
Mary did not moderate.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My apologies then. So
That's okay.
thank you, group moderators, for that. Now we will be showing a video titled, "This is Self-Advocacy."
Okay.
The idea behind this and the work I do, but specifically this membership, is that we all have a story to tell, but sometimes stories are placed upon us. For many with disabilities, other people decide our stories for us, or we get stuck in the same stories about ourselves. So other people tell stories for us because of our bodies or our minds or our lives, or we tell ourselves the same stories. We create these scripts for safety and for clarity, and sometimes to receive care. So we exist in a system that we keep telling the same story because we have to get money, to get places to live, to get all kinds of things. So these are the stories we tell about ourselves, or people tell about us. For someone who experiences disability, storytelling in this multidisciplinary way, which is the art world's fancy way to say using different materials. So sometimes we used oil pastels, sometimes we used our bodies, sometimes we used our voices. With lots of different kinds of art, we allow different kinds of stories to be told. And it asks ways to share, different kinds of views to be formed. It allows a fun way to share, and that sharing creates and builds community. You were allowed to create stories in different ways than you used to. Some people use their voices, other people use their bodies. You were allowed to paint and draw, to create fun, to create new stories and new possibilities for yourselves and for your community. So from this sharing, we learn about and from each other. One day we shared about mapping, and we figured out where we all lived and placed it on Jesse's really great map of the city. And then we also talked about places we can't go. So if you don't drive and you don't go to South Edmonton Common ever, why would you go there? So your city changes depending on how you actually get yourself around. And what places are unsafe and what places do we love? There was a lot of going to swimming pools and libraries and places that are free to go to that we can all build community. This came up as a huge resource as well, to have Self-Advocacy's meeting office on Jasper Ave, where we can all congregate through public transit, through DATS, through taxi, to get together in a room where we all felt safe that we could share. And then we also explored the imaginary. So what are your best features? If you were a superhero, what kind of superhero would you be? What kind of food do you like to eat? All these small things that become really big in the stories that we share. When we have labels like disability, no one asks what's our favorite food or how do you move around the city. Everything becomes politicized. So we really got to know on some basic details such as our day in a life. I found out that so many of you have cats or drink coffee or eat cereal in the morning, and these small humanizing things that get us beyond our disability labels. The other thing it also allows us to do as a group of people is decide what we share and what we don't share. So getting beyond this label that's placed upon us, we don't have to say what our medical diagnoses are to have a story. Instead, you can tell the story of your superhero, or you can tell the story of what you ate for breakfast, or how you got to the meeting. And the ability to have that story and share that imagination moves you beyond just being a label. It moves you into the story that you want to tell the world. And this can be used as a self-advocacy tool. So you become so much more than what people have told you you are, what I tell you you are. You get to decide and be the author of your own story. And I got the pleasure of spending so many months with you figuring that out. And some of you liked the exercises I threw at you in an experimental way, and some of you didn't. And that's okay too. That's part of deciding how you want to express yourself. With that, I'm going to show you the film, because that matters how your story is read to the world.
You have been with the SAF pretty much since before it was SAF, right?
Yes, since 2006.
I need to know from Quinn just how he feels about all these photos.
God, really happy on how far we've come over the 13 years.
There we go.
Yes, that's from the rally in Cowtown.
So do these memories make you happy?
Yes. Every day you had to go out to work again. You didn't have any choices.
Did you get paid? No.
Got a job in Rocky, and that's where I said I've had it. I'm out of here. Hitchhiked to St. Albert, living with my brother Dave. Hitchhiking back and forth to work before they got the buses there. At that point in time, I had a job with my brother-in-law. He had his own printing outfit. Then he sold his print shop. And unfortunately, I was out of a job.
Were you in the news?
Yeah. I drive on my bike and I had a piece of wood across the handlebars. And there was a stop sign or a sign on the road, piece of board, hit the sign, and I went ass over tea kettle.
And that made it into the news?
Yeah, I made it on the front page of the Gazette.
Oh, wow.
And then I worked for the St. Albert Gazette for the next number of years. Deliver gazettes door to door.
Tell me about how you started dancing.
I started I was a very little kid a long time ago. I think dance is very important. It makes me feel more confident. It's nice to enjoy that. I have some fun.
How does it help you speak?
I think foreign language, it does make sense. Dancing makes you doing something for yourself.
How I managed to get married under guardianship? Well, my guardian was my mom, and she was all well for me marrying my husband, Danny. But then when we did the whole wedding process, it turned into be a difficult situation. We could only invite people that could drive opposed to friends that have disability. My stepdad, he couldn't go because of his disability.
How long have you two been together now?
2.5 years. We're very open and honest with each other. We never go to bed angry. We never lie to each other. We're pretty much like an open book. And Danny's just an all-time funny character. You never know what he's gonna do. So I love being married to him.
I know how exciting it's been for you, especially over the last little while, about you being able to move.
Yeah.
Where is it that you're going to be moving to?
St. Albert. There's a city hall in St. Albert. I would like to work there. And the house is nice. I'm going to be helping do chores there.
What type of chores are you excited about doing?
Sweeping, mopping, cleaning the house, dishes, do my laundry.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
We bring it all together because if we complement each other's strengths, I find. You talk way better than I do.
And it works out really well. He used to go, well, you date me for my car. I'm like, no, I date you for your feet.
Yeah. Because we both have disability. We know each other's situation, and that brings us even closer together.
Now I understand him better than his parents do.
But again, we both understand that one of us can provide
balance for the other.
Recently, I have gotten involved with a girl from England. We actually met on Twitter, one thing kind of led to another, and yeah, then he had applied for a 2-year visa to come to Canada. We did it very methodically in terms of making sure that, because both of us had been in prior relationships that were not the best, and so we didn't want that same disaster to happen. He's more accommodating and more accepting than anybody I've ever met. There are all those people out there that say, I don't care that you have a disability. I love you for who you are, and that's all I care about.
It all starts.
I always say it was love at first tweet.
Right.
Thank you, everyone. We would now like to take a moment for self-advocacy community to quickly introduce their group and explain how their communities advocate and how they support self-advocacy. Each group has about 2 minutes for this before being muted.
We would like to start out with the Self-Advocacy Federation.
Sorry, I'm with the Self-Advocacy Federation and on the steering committee, and I'd like to introduce the Self-Advocacy Federation to you today. Yeah, the Self-Advocacy Federation is a group of people with varying disabilities that have decided to get together, for the most part, around a table and discuss the problems and issues that we're facing and advocate for each other and advocate for things like basic income and the rights of AISH and basically what's going on in the world and around us and what we're having troubles with, and see if we can make things better.
Julie, where is the Self-Advocacy Federation located?
Oh, the office had.
No, I mean, like, what city? What city?
Edmonton. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Sorry. There we go. Short speech off top of head.
Maybe we should mention that we meet every Tuesdays at 4 o'clock, and that anyone is able to join us, and we will post the link on our Facebook. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Julie and Carrie. Next, we will hear from the Disability Action Hall.
You're on. You're on, like you're speaking.
So, this is Lloyd. I'm with Disability Action Hall, and Disability Action Hall got together about 22 years ago. We got together in a church downtown in Calgary, and a group of people got together and start talking about people with disability and wonder what can we do, you know, and help the people with disability. So we formed this group called Disability Action Hall. And over the years, we've done quite a bit of work for the disability. We talk about AISH, and we talk about safety in your houses. The people living in different houses, the government came up with some kind of safety rules for the houses. And we done quite a bit of work about that. And we went to Edmonton and talked to the government several times, and we had different governments over the years. We had NDP government and we had PC government. So we talked to different groups of the government about disability, and how we could help people with disability, and how we could strengthen the people with disability helping in different communities. So we've done quite a lot of work over the years about disability. And another thing I got to say is about the film we saw a little while ago. That counts as spirit, and the good people with disability, what they could do in the community and what they could do for Albertans. You know, there's lots of spirit there and lots of good people with disability, and there are lots of workers to help the people with disabilities. So I think over the years we've done quite a bit of work, and we're going to keep on working for people with disability. So that's all I got to say now. Thank you.
Thank you, Lloyd. And now we will hear from the Southern Region Self-Advocacy Network.
Hi, my name is Keely Blackwood, and the South Region Self-Advocacy Network, SARSAN, is a large community network of people with and without disabilities from all over Southern Alberta. SARSAN works together to be a united voice which promotes equality, opportunities, and inclusion for all people by educating the community about the dreams and abilities of people with disabilities to do this through community development and advocacy. We share ideas among the SARSAN group and the community. We want to see a better future for people with disabilities where they can grow stronger community members. SARSAN has been part of many projects over the years that can help people, that has helped people. We have been part of fighting for changes to AACT, transportation in the South, housing, and accessibility. Some of the things that we have done is plain language, the AACT application, and some of the policies for AACT, creating plain language voters guides, and help people understand voting. Organized letter writing, organized and held rallies, met with provincial and local government and hosted them at our meetings and shared our stories with the community.
Thank you very much, Keely. Finally, we're going to hear from Albertans Advocating for Change Together, Kathleen Thursdorf.
Thanks. Albertans Advocating for Change Together, or AACT, is a network of self-advocates and regional self-advocacy groups. Our main role is to share information about what local and regional self-advocacy groups are doing and to support each other's efforts. We mainly do this with our quarterly newsletters, our website, and a self-advocacy summit every few years. We also share what self-advocates say with the government. We have had regular meetings with the Disability Advocate and members of the Community and Social Services Ministry since April 1st. And we've talked about the impact of AACT changes and COVID-19 rules on the disability community. This summit is supported by an FCSS Calgary grant, which also helps rural and Indigenous people with disabilities get computer tablets and learn how to use them so that they can be part of the self-advocate community and not be isolated. Membership in ACT costs $5 a year for email newsletters and $15 a year if you want paper newsletters. The membership form is on our website at www.albertaact.com.
Thank you very much for that. Next, we have a short talk by disability advocate Tony Flores.
Hi, everyone. Keith, thanks for the introduction. Thanks for inviting me to introduce myself and to present the roles and functions of the Office of the Advocate for Persons with Disabilities. The advocate, me as the first advocate for persons with disabilities in Alberta, I represent the rights, interests, and what is important to persons with disabilities in Alberta. And there are three main functions that I do. One is individual resolution. So people call my office to ask some kind of resolutions to the challenges or the issues or concerns they have. And the second is education. Before the pandemic, I traveled across the province from Fort McMurray to Grand Prairie, all the way down to Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, and Drumheller, and small communities like Olds. Traveled between Edmonton and Red Deer and Calgary, and I was engaged with over 200 community partners. That education piece is really not only introducing myself as the advocate, but is really also promoting the importance of inclusion and accessibility. And the third piece is what I've learned from those individual resolutions, from those people that contact my office and understand their concerns and their problems. And what I've learned from my community engagement throughout my travels across the province, we were able to understand bigger issues. You know, what are causing these little problems or these individual problems? We were able to understand these bigger issues, and I have the opportunity to bring this to the government's attention, to make them aware of these challenges so it can be fixed. So those are the three main functions of the office. And since the office opened an early part of November 2018, and so far we have served over 1,600 individuals, Albertans, and we have addressed about 2,000 cases now, because some individuals would present more than one cases to our office, and we have resolved about 90% of those cases. And I'd like to point out that that in the legislation, the Advocate for Persons with Disability Act, disability is not defined in the legislation to ensure inclusivity, to ensure full support to the disability community. I also have the responsibility to submit an annual report to the Legislative Assembly. The annual report was just submitted. It's now completed, and it's now available in my website. The third piece that I'm obligated to do, that I have responsibility to do, is to evaluate the legislation 2 years from the date of the proclamation. So I've just completed that evaluation, and that's also been submitted now to the Legislative Assembly. I'd like to emphasize what's important to the Office of the Advocate for Persons with Disabilities. First, what is important is that we are grounded in the principles of the UN Conventions of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Canada has signed into this convention in 2010, respecting the fact that people with disabilities has equal rights as anyone else, and that we have the right to claim those rights. The second piece that grounds the office is that we are to remain connected with the disability community. And the third piece is that we are grounded in the lived experiences of persons with disabilities. It is important for us to understand the lived experience of persons with disabilities so that we are able to inform the decision makers of your concerns and your issues, so that changes can be made. Another piece that's important in my role is that partnership with AACT, for instance, with you folks, is important for us, because not only we're able to understand your concerns and your concerns, but also it strengthens our ability to serve the community. It expands our ability to serve the community.
Tony,
yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry to cut you off, but we are limited in time.
Okay.
So if it's okay with you, I'd really like to open up the floor to at least a question or two that anybody might have.
Sure.
to the participants, to get in line to ask a question, please open chat at the bottom of your screen and put your name or question in the chat box. By phone, press *9, please.
Amy, what do I do? Repeat that again, please.
To get in line to ask a question, please open the chat box at the bottom of your screen and put your name or question in the chat box. By phone, press *9.
Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Okay.
No, Tony, you just wait for somebody to get called on to ask him a question.
Gotcha. All right.
But you're good.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Tony. I just
It's all good.
Okay, we have a question from Carson. Hang on a second. AACT is not included in the disability legislation. Why is that?
I'm sorry?
It says ASD is not included in that disability legislation. Why is that? I'm not sure what ASD is.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
That's autism.
It's autism spectrum disorder.
Right. I see. Are you referring to the Advocate for Persons with Disability Act legislation? I'm assuming that's what this individual is referring to. Yeah, disability is not defined in the legislation to ensure full inclusivity to all types of disability. So autism spectrum disorder is included in that.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you, Tony. We have another one from Marge. What is happening to changes? What is happening to changes to ACE, and how it is affecting the disability community?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not involved with those decision process. I cannot respond to that question.
Looks like we have enough time for another question, possibly two.
Yeah. This is from Linda. It says, may I ask the office of, hang on. May I ask the office of Alberta, Advocate for Persons with Disabilities, Tony Flores, how their office helped our disabled in our homelessness members and our Indigenous disabled in, I'm gonna mess this up, in Mckechn, I think, these 100 days and in our transition domain to conference center in Edmonton. So I think she's asking, how have you helped the Indigenous community and the homeless community and in the disability community?
Right. So I help individuals through, if they call our office, we like I said initially, that we help individuals find resolutions to those. If they have concerns, they are welcome to call my office. My telephone number is 780-422-1095, and my email address is advocate.disability@gov.ab.ca.
And that is currently being put onto the chat board if you want to
yeah,
access.
Thank you very much. That is correct. And in regards to systemic issues, in regards to homelessness and Indigenous and First Nation issues, I have brought, we identify these as systemic issues, and I bring this forward to the government as well. It's a systemic problem.
Thank you, Tony.
Sorry, thank you so much, Mr. Flores. That concludes our afternoon. We want to thank you for joining us, and thank you to our interpreters and captioners, as well as organizers of this summit session. We hope to share with you the video recording of this summit on the AACT YouTube channel.
We would like to remind you of the next summit, which will be on disability arts and culture. It comes up next Monday on November 9th, 2020 at 1 p.m. You will be receiving an email to the Eventbrite link. So that with that, and that's where you can register. Good afternoon and good night.
Oh, wait.
Bye, everyone.
What time?
Did they hear you, Bill?
Yeah, time. Talking.
What time?
Time.
1 p.m.
What?
The same time as this week. It's just 7 days from now.
Okay, that's you.
You're welcome. Take care, everyone.
Yep.
Can all of the moderators and co-hosts stay on the chat, please?
Take care,
Have a great
everyone.
day, guys. Take care.
You too, guys. Enjoy the warm weather out there.
Yeah.
We'll definitely do that. Have a good one.
Get a walk while it's nice out.
Thank you guys very much.
Well, you can meet? Okay.
Thank you so much.
When I mute myself.
Hi.
Hey, Mary.
There's still some people here that need to leave the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
See you guys.
Here.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Bill.
Bye.
Great to see you, Ray. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Take care, everyone.
Yep.
Can all of the moderators and co-hosts stay on the chat, please?
Take care,
Have a great
everyone.
day, guys. Take care.
You too, guys. Enjoy the warm weather out there.
Yeah.
We'll definitely do that. Have a good one.
Get a walk while it's nice out.
Thank you guys very much.
Well,